Welcome to day 336 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother, Brian. Remember, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in CloutFeed. So not too much news really yesterday. I think probably the biggest piece of news is that StoriApp that's being created by DesignSta and Revolve, they released a website. The website isn't actually the app. It's just a website kind of presenting the future of the app to an audience. I know they've been building up their Twitter. They've been building up their Discord account, Discord, I guess. What do you call it?
Discord server.
Discord server. That's the word I was looking for. And they've been being pretty successful. They did say that it's the actual launch is going to be in the coming months. So I don't know when that's going to be. The website, for those who haven't checked it out yet, is StoriApp.co. And they're also taking part in a giveaway for those who repost the post that they made about the website. So definitely go to Story on DeSo, repost that post, and you have a chance to win 0.2 Story coin. 3 winners will win 0.2 Story coin each. So that's exciting. So the website does talk about a little bit more about what they're going to encompass, what the app's going to be about and how it's going to be utilized. And I'll just read a few of the things on the website, which I found interesting. On the main page, it says, share your story, mint NFTs, inspire others, collect inspiration, build connections, monetize your content. Welcome to Web3. And then there's a section that explains it in more detail that says, in the story marketplace, creators can mint NFTs of stickers, templates, and filters, and earn money for their creations. Imagine being able to buy a super rare collectible sticker created by your favorite artist or brand, and then getting to proudly display it on your stories. So the idea, I love this idea. What do you think?
Yeah, and something else I noticed is that you're also going to be able to, I believe, mint the story itself as an NFT. So that's something that I didn't know beforehand. I think it has so much potential. It's just getting the people initially to start using it and spreading it so it can go viral. It definitely is the first app that really thinks outside the box, I think. It doesn't only present NFTs in a different way, and I guess social media in a different way than other DeSo apps, but other apps in general on Web 2. There's nothing like this on Web 2. Of course, it kind of functions like Instagram in a little ways, but the NFT aspects of it really kind of takes things up a notch. So I think that if they can really gain traction from the start and really start bringing on new people from outside of DeSo, and that's no easy task, because as we've seen with other apps, it's hard to attract new users. I think if they can figure out a way to do that in a way that's efficient, I think this could be one of the killer apps on DeSo.
Yeah, I agree. Like imagine if, say, like a celebrity came on and they started creating, like maybe they create not only stories, but they also create stickers and say, you know, me, Snoop Dogg, I'm going to create three, or let's say 30 stickers of me smoking a joint. And only 30 of my fans are going to be able to have this sticker to use on their story when they create their story. And maybe he sells them for, let's say, $200 a piece. So he makes $6,000 selling 30 stickers, which could very easily sell instantly. And then those people, his fans who buy that sticker, are going to be the only ones on story on DeSo that can use that sticker on their stories. So I think there's a lot of potential. And then let's say, okay, there's such a demand for these stickers, but there's only 30 of them out there. The price is going to go up. They're going to increase in value. Some of the original people who bought are going to be able to sell theirs, and the floor price will increase. And it kind of makes this stuff collectible. Then let's say Paris Hilton comes on and she's going to just mint some stories. Like maybe every day she mints a story about what she's doing, you know, talking about what she's doing for that day. And she only makes 10 of them available. And those 10, maybe they're going to be sold to the highest 10 bidders over, like maybe she'll have the auction for a whole 24 hours before the next one's minted. And the 10 highest bidders will get the story for that day. And then they kind of become these like trading cards, like the Paris Hilton trading card series, because every day there's only 10 that are minted for what Paris Hilton did on that day. And I'm saying 10, maybe a celebrity wants to do 1,000 of them. Maybe they only want to do one and make it super exclusive. There's so much potential.
And I think one thing to remember is that NFTs, not all NFTs, but a lot of the NFTs that are being bought as kind of like a flex. So it's like, look what I own. And whether you agree with that mentality or not, like showing off what you just bought for $500,000, I don't know. But I think a lot of the people within the NFT space that are posting them as their Twitter profile picture and verifying them on Twitter so that they get Octagon, what they're trying to do is say, hey, look what I have. They're happy. They want to show off what they bought. So like Story allows you to do that, but in a way none of these other traditional social media platforms have, because you could actually use the NFTs within your post. And every post you make, you're like showing it off. So I really love the idea. And I think it kind of caters to like the core of the NFT community. And if it does start to take off, I think there's no stopping it.
Well, and I also think it has potential to bring people who aren't into NFTs just because they follow a certain celebrity or influencer on Instagram or Twitter. Going back to the Paris Hilton idea. Now, what if Paris Hilton said, okay, I'm only going to mint one each day. It's going to be one edition. The person that gets that one edition will be the only person to ever own that one story I created. So the value, maybe she's going to sell it for $1,000 every day, but the value could increase as time goes on. And then what she could do is say, anybody who owns one of these NFTs gets access to a special party I'm going to hold every year. So every year that party will grow by 365 people, 366 in a leap year, and the party will get bigger and bigger. But these people are paying her to buy that NFT, and then Paris is also making money when those NFTs are resold. So there's so much like utility that could be put into that. I don't know, like Stories like thinking about that, or they probably really don't need to. She can probably just put it in the description. But something like that, I think, has a potential to really take off and change the way that creators, influencers, and even celebrities can monetize themselves.
Yeah.
Now, also there's Pearl, and Pearl's been under development. And do you think there's going to be much crossover between Story and Pearl?
I think that the general like Instagram image centric concept will be a crossover, but I don't believe that the main functionalities are going to really interfere with each other. I think Stories more centered around the creation of these stories with filters and stickers and templates, whereas Pearl is going to be more centered on just people posting images and videos and then buying creator coins with possibly US dollars and trading creator coins. I think they're going to actually complement each other in a way, because if you have a Story account, you can head on over to Pearl and view your account on Pearl as well. So I think that any ways that these could be competitors, I think it's going to be outweighed by how much they can complement each other. And that's me talking, not fully understanding exactly what Pearl is going to roll out, but from what I'm hearing, it's not going to be too much of a crossover to Story.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything in regards to NFTs with Pearl, and I believe Story is holding out on creator coins. They're not even going to implement creator coins into their app. So Pearl's going to use that as the way for creators to monetize, where Story is going to use NFTs as a way for creators to monetize.
Yeah.
So Mossify made a Twitter post yesterday. You want to talk a little bit about that, Brian?
Yeah, Mossified, Ed Moss, on Twitter, he made a post. DeSo is hiring. So the DeSo Foundation is looking for 2 key positions. And the first position is a growth marketer. And their responsibility is going to be to grow the community, encourage more developers, more founders to build onto DeSo, and just amplify what's happening already. But I think that position is really important, because as we know, the user growth has stagnated significantly.
Yeah.
Development growth, I think, has kind of stagnated. We're not seeing the number of developers flow on
Well,
like
I
we
think it's
did.
kind of hard to tell that right now because lots probably happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. But I think new development wise, like I think there's a ton of projects that haven't launched that are being worked on, which is great. But I don't see too many new developers flowing on. So I think a growth marketer is definitely a position that they need. And the second position is a director of the Octane Accelerator. So basically somebody who can run the Octane fund, start giving out money to developers, figuring out which developers should be receiving that money. Whether there's going to be an Octane Fund DAO, I mean, maybe they would be somewhat in charge of that DAO, or I mean, at least managing that DAO. I don't know, but I think it is important that the foundation continue to hire. I think they've lost a couple people. They haven't hired a ton to replace the loss. I think they probably replaced the people that they lost. But I think if we are moving forward and we're going to have maybe DAOs and smart services and all of that, I think it's important to kind of have this unified approach where you launch all these new features with a bang and get the media involved and get the community involved and get people excited. And I think you do that with people working for the foundation who can spend the time necessary to reach out to the community and work on the projects that I think might have been lacking a little bit because the core team has been concentrating mostly on developing the blockchain.
Yeah, for sure. So DAOs, like we keep hearing about DAOs. There's DAO now. There's a big blog post about DAOs by Core. I guess it was yesterday, and I guess 2 days ago. So I'm just trying to think of some cool ideas of what people in DeSo could do to create a DAO. Like what kind of DAOs could be created. I was actually in a clubhouse room yesterday with DOZ. I believe he created a clubhouse room about DAOs. They were reading the white paper, him and Michelle Lord and several others. And we just got talking a little bit for like 5 minutes or so. And he mentioned, how about a DAO for a Super Bowl commercial? And I think that's something that would really be a great idea. Let's create a Super Bowl commercial for DeSo. And
yeah, I would just add, I think the important thing with any DAO is what are you going to get out of it? So as an investor, so that's something you got to figure out. I'm sure you have some ideas.
Yeah, so my idea was, okay, everybody who contributes to the DAO, based on the amount of coins DAO tokens they hold, will get an avatar shown in the commercial. And if there's a ton of people donating, or I guess buying DAO tokens, they'd have to be smaller and maybe they'd scroll or float around on the screen. I don't know how it'll be done, but maybe somebody buys a bunch of DAO tokens, they'll have a big avatar. Other people will have a little tiny avatar, but you can still see it. I think that'd be a pretty cool idea, because everybody in the DAO actually gets to be in the commercial in a certain way. And it would
Yeah,
be
like obviously a Super Bowl commercial is a lot of money. I think, what was it, like $8 million this year for a 30-second spot, something crazy like that. So, I mean, to raise $8 million, you'd need a lot of people. And you'd have to, of course, bring people on from outside of DeSo, I think, which might be a little bit tough initially.
That's a
So
good
I think
point.
we'd have to wait for that one, just because somebody outside of DeSo isn't going to be buying into a DAO to advertise
Yeah.
DeSo. $8 million, that would be 1,000 people investing $8,000. So I think that's a little bit out of the question. I don't think there's going to be 1,000.
So what if instead of it's for a DeSo commercial, it's just for a commercial for the DAO?
Yeah,
and
a commercial for the DAO that maybe they'll air it on, I don't know, think of your favorite TV show or your favorite station. Maybe they'll air it on I don't know, PBS. I guess PBS has no commercials, so that's a horrible example.
No, I'm
But
saying for the Super Bowl, a commercial for that DAO on the Super Bowl. Like instead of being for DeSo advertising DeSo, would be advertising the Super Bowl commercial DAO. And like every year they could, like I don't know, I'm just throwing the idea out there, but there's a lot of different ideas. I think like a DAO Dubai, a sports team, would be really cool.
it's just a lot of money. It's
a lot of
obviously
money.
needed. You're talking $1 billion.
Yeah, but like maybe it doesn't have to be a major league sports team. Maybe it could be a minor league sports team, or like a just to start off, and then the goal could be to, generate revenue and then build up to buy a major league sports team. How about a video game created by a DAO? And those DAO tokens can actually act as money in the game once it's created.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like looking at DAO tokens as a way to generate revenue, but they can also be a way to kind of provide an incentive program, I think. So I think you got to like kind of diversify your mindset and don't just think money and don't just think governance, think about the other possibilities as well. I think there's a lot of really good futuristic possibilities. One would be like a charity DAO to help Ukraine, Ukraine relief. And maybe you don't get anything. All you get is the ability to say how this money is going to be distributed. And I think something like that could work. Most charities, you invest money into the charity and they use the money however they want. Some goes to salaries, some goes to advertising the charity. Others actually go to actual use cases to help people. So I think a charity DAO could be powerful because you're going to have the community making the decisions.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think the future of DAOs on DeSo is, Brian?
I think if they execute this properly, and DAO, which we're all assuming is kind of backed by DeSo, I think that has a lot of potential. And the people I've talked to, even some of the more pessimistic people about DeSo over the course of the last month are I think they're pretty optimistic about the possible potential of DAOs on DeSo, because I think you're going to have this kind of viral funneling system. And I described it before as kind of like a funnel tree where you have all these different DAOs popping up, and these DAOs are funneling new people into DeSo, and these new people are creating more DAOs and maybe developing on DeSo, or maybe doing some crazy things with their creator coin or subscriptions. So I think that DAOs could kind of reignite the fire we saw back in March or April, but only this time DeSo is going to be more prepared, and DeSo is going to have a system in place to kind of bombard the media with what's going on. And there's multiple nodes and dozens of projects that are built on DeSo, unlike in March and April. So I think back then you had creator coins kind of go viral, but then people got here and all there was bitclout.com, and they didn't really understand what's so special about this. It's just a Twitter, a 1990s version of Twitter. So I think now might be a better time to see something kind of explode like we saw back in March. And I think this time it could actually have legs and go viral if they do it correctly.
I think we're going to see DAOs and NFTs kind of merge in the future, because I think NFTs have been in some ways acting as DAO tokens, especially for utility cases or for, let's say, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. If you own an NFT in the Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's a membership in this club, and you get airdrops of other NFTs. You get to attend certain parties. So I think, in that case, NFTs are acting kind of as a DAO token. You own that NFT, you're part of that DAO. So how about a DAO as sort of a whitelist for a future NFT? So you sell access to this DAO, and by owning X amount of DAO coins, you are whitelisted for this NFT series, in addition to having governance into how this series is going to kind of progress, as well as earning income based on that series. I think that could be super powerful. Yeah, but I think there's going to be a lot of like things merging. And I think, NFTs as DAO tokens are a lot more exciting than DAO tokens as DAO tokens. Like when you think about it, if you get a unique piece of art as well, and that represents your membership in the DAO. So, and I know DAO mentioned that, like you could use NFTs as your DAO tokens, but I don't think it was coming right when it launches, but I think that's something they're working on. And I personally like that idea.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, so I think just community events, and that's about it. Today at 11 a.m. Eastern time in Clubhouse is DeSo Week in Review. Brian, did you start the list yet?
Got to do it as soon as we stop filming here.
Yeah, so it's with DeSo Chats, Miss Katie Ann, Michelle Lord, Rhubarb, French Connector, Wildography, Clout Women Unite, and many, many others. Brian speaks for like 5 hours talking about the news on DeSo. Is there a lot this week? I don't remember. Not too
There's a
much,
decent
right?
amount, and of course, DAO is a pretty important one
That's
that we can
that's
kind
true.
of expand on a little bit.
Yeah, and at 12 p.m. Eastern time is the Entre Book Club with Caleb Whittle. He is inviting everybody to the Entre Book Club. Definitely check that out if you have time. Uh, if Brian's done speaking from the clubhouse room yet. Actually, the clubhouse room usually goes over an hour because other people give their weekend reviews. Definitely check that room out if you haven't already. 1 p.m. Eastern time in Clubhouse, a closing party for 10 powerful Vox Me women. That's with Ola La, Michelle Lord, Miss Katie Ann, Meshalyn, Tobias Schmid, Alendez, GDS, Wildography, and Zorin. 1:30 p.m. Eastern time on Entra is DeSo updates with Alex Velatus. So that's definitely something you want to attend. You know, Alex is probably going to talk a little bit about DAOs, I assume, perhaps the community event that's coming up, and everything else that's been going on in DeSo. So I think that's a very important event, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time today. 3 p.m. Eastern time in Clubhouse is the DeSo Astronation Pathfinder NFTs by Conchi. Numbers 9 and 10 are going to be sold. Definitely check that out if you haven't yet gotten one of those. Slava and will be there, and it's sponsored by DeSo Chats running the room. Again, that's 3 p.m. Eastern time on Clubhouse. Definitely check that out. You know, last week Conchi auctioned off several of the Pathfinder NFTs, which give you access to a space station in his Astronation metaverse. And now there's 2 more going. I think there's going to be 12 in total. So there's only 4 remaining. So it's almost your last chance to get one if you
Yeah,
haven't
we
already.
tried bidding last week, and got outbid. It was exciting because I hadn't seen that much interest in an NFT for a long time. People were outbidding people like crazy. So I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to that room, as well as definitely the other ones as well. It's a busy day for sure on DeSo, outside of DeSo, I guess.
yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's all we have for today. We will talk to everyone tomorrow and have a great weekend. TGIF.